Go ahead, Ryan.
Did the thing end? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was trying to look for the list on Twitter, and for some reason it wasn't playing in my headphones. So I'm like, oh man, I really hope it didn't end. I come back and it ended. But what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. We've got all four of us today. I know who summoned the demons to get all four of us here today. We don't know. It's called good organization this time. Oh shit, I just hit my mic. But you know what? We're talking two astounding MCU films. Avengers Infinity War versus Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I get my seasons mixed up between summer. I'm sorry, that was a bad joke.
October is a season?
Yep. Don't judge me, AJ. You just love judging me, man. But let's get right down to the nitty gritty because we got all four of us today. And it took us 30 minutes last time with just the two of us, which I was pretty impressed about. So we got two big competitors for what is considered the quote unquote best MCU film. I know a lot of people talk about this. I won't tell my opinions and I won't tell anyone else's opinions, but let's get right into it. First off, let's just start with the story. Avengers Infinity War has amazing story. I just take into account it might not be the most flawless story, but the idea of taking all these mainstream characters and putting them into a film and having it work so well, having it flow so well, on top of having a really intriguing arc with an intriguing villain that also makes you question whether you're on the right side, just like Civil War did, really speaks to me about what he really wanted to do, Thanos specifically, with what he wanted to do in saving his kind on the planet Titan. So I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10 for story on Avengers Infinity War. And the Winter Soldier, when this movie came out, I actually had no clue who the Winter Soldier was. So I was really excited to see this film, and I had no idea it was Bucky until the trailers decided to spoil it for me. But dude, I absolutely love this film. I think it's a nice emotional journey that Steve goes on between his best friend and the government. And not only the government working with him, but against him at the same time and going against all his morals and values that we saw him go for in the first Avengers and the first Captain America film. But I'm not going to lie, I'm going to let my Infinity War love beat it just a little bit. So I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10 for Winter Soldier. What about you, Deebs? You're looking really, really happy right now.
I just love Manda's comment. She said, hello, everyone, except Ryan.
Yo, that's foul.
We have Kyle joining. What's up, Kyle? Thanks for joining, man. All right. So, yeah, my thoughts, quick note before we get started on these two crazy epic films. I want to give a quick salute to my man, Chadwick Boseman. Like, we've done a lot of podcasts here. It's been mostly horror and all that kind of stuff. And it's been a while, probably way too long since we've done an MCU podcast. But this hero was literally 2 years into battling cancer when Avengers Infinity War was released, which means he was ill while working on Black Panther, Infinity War, Endgame. He was undergoing surgery, chemotherapy. I just want to say rest in peace, T'Challa. Incredible talent, continued to be missed. And after that, I just want to say thank you to the Russo brothers, for making these two incredible movies. It's an honor. First up, similarities on the story. It begins and ends with the Russo brothers. I said it before, and I'll say it again. The single biggest difference maker for the MCU was getting the Russo brothers on board. Story-wise, on one end, The Winter Soldier is just this thought-provoking action thriller that is part Jason Bourne, Hong Kong action cinema that really blends in a really good story and just incredible pace. And on the other end, Avengers Infinity War was just the culmination of 10 years of storytelling. And just these are two just top-tier MCU movies that we're going to be talking about. Differences: Infinity War kind of relies more on the previous films to make it kind of good. It's not that kind of a complicated story. It's get the villain. That is literally the plot. Whereas when I think of Infinity War, it's kind of like the ninth episode of Game of Thrones. It's always the fucking best episode of the season, and that's how I see Infinity War. For Winter Soldier, though, this was political. It was philosophical. It really stood out among every single MCU movie at the time. The Winter Soldier stands on its own. It's self-contained. Cap adjusting to life in the modern world. It's this riveting spy thriller. Like Infinity War is this epic superhero film. Whereas I see like Winter Soldier is like a great movie in its own right. It's not even a superhero movie to me. It's just a great movie. The finger snap was great, but I wasn't really that tied to it like emotionally. I knew that everyone was going to come back during those final credits. Everyone knew. The other difference is the release date. We talk about the Winter Soldier. It was released at a time when the MCU was a little bit stale. Iron Man 3, Thor, The Dark World, those were the previous two movies that came out before the Winter Soldier. So it was kind of an unknown a little bit after the Avengers and the state of the MCU moving forward. The Winter Soldier just changed the game for Marvel. I will say Winter Soldier story a 10 and Infinity War 9.
Wow, that is much higher than I thought you would go. But let's go straight to AJ because he's chilling like a villain right now.
Yeah, so I actually agree with Debs a little bit on this one. I prefer Winter Soldier story-wise, so I'm just going to give it my score right now. Winter Soldier right now is a 10 out of 10. You were actually talking about that a little bit, Debs, but I will go a little bit further. I compare Winter Soldier, and a lot of people, I think Amanda will agree with me on this one, but I compare Winter Soldier with The Dark Knight The Dark Knight in terms of story. I think that what Winter Soldier did just rejuvenated, good Lord.
Reinvented?
No.
Rejuvenated.
Yes,
rejuvenated. Yes. Okay.
It the entire MCU, much like what Deb said, we had Iron Man 3, which wasn't terrible, but it wasn't on the level of what we got with Iron Man or Avengers type level. So a lot of people were getting a little like discouraged with the MCU until Winter Soldier came out. And what the Russo brothers did was fantastic. Winter Soldier is definitely actually, I will say the best MCU movie story-wise. So I'm giving that a 10. Now, Infinity War. Infinity War is my favorite MCU movie of all time.
Hey! I'm shocked we agree on that, actually. I didn't think you did. Maybe
I do think that Winter Soldier is the best movie of the MCU, but Infinity War is definitely the favorite of mine. So many badass moments. Unlike Debs, though, I actually did cry when he snapped. Even though I did know they were going to come back because this obvious plot right there, but at the moment, for me, the way I view movies, I just stay in the moment. I don't think about anything else besides the movie I'm watching. I don't care about news. I don't care about trailers or anything, basically. So once that happened, I was so emotionally, even before that happened, I was emotionally invested within the film that I was watching, which was Infinity War. And to me, it's not, you have to watch the previous stories, the previous MCU films to understand fully the Infinity War movie and Endgame movie. But with Winter Soldier, you really don't have to watch any of them. You can watch Winter Soldier by itself. You don't have to focus on any other MCU movie. And that's why I'm giving Infinity War at 8.5 out of 10 story-wise.
Got it.
Awesome. What about you, Loretto?
Like my original partner in crime, Dibes, I actually share very similar sentiments in the sense that Infinity War was all about scale. I said this in the superhero draft that it was much like an annual. When a comic book annual comes together for a final epic arc and brings people together and brings an epicness of scale to it, that's what Infinity War has. The story is rather simplified in the sense that stop the bad guy. He's collecting the stones. He's coming. He's beating everybody down. We need to stop him. That essentially boils down to that. And again, like Dives is saying, hats off to the Russo brothers, because I think no matter what people want to say about the MCU, they want to say this, they want to say that, oh, the color grading, whatever. What I love about the Russo brothers is their attention to detail. The details is what makes their films so wonderful. Whether it's Falcon saying "on your left" in The Winter Soldier and saying it again in Endgame, whether it's Steve Rogers' list of, oh, I have to see Star Wars, I have to listen to Marvin Gaye. Those subtle details really help you connect with the character. And even going to Infinity War, like, having Thor come down, oh, I see you've copied my beard. Oh, hi, this is Tree, and all those little details really make the film that much more enjoyable. And the Russo brothers had experience with what was Community, right?
Community,
or Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Sorry, Arrested Development.
Community.
So their comedy background played very well into these epic superhero films. But what I will give the edge to The Winter Soldier is the fact that, like all you guys have been saying, not just the fact that it's standalone, the fact that you could take out the superhero stuff, you could take out the Marvel stuff. And for all you know, Steve Rogers is a James Bond, or like Dobbs is saying, a Jason Bourne character, and it plays perfectly fine. It's an espionage spy thriller with the MCU overlaid over it, and it plays off beautifully. I liked the twists. There was many twists and turns. The MacGuffin of, oh, Nick Fury's dead. No, he's not. Oh my God. And again, I like Ryan. I knew who the Winter Soldier was, but I didn't know the depth that they were going to take him. And to see someone match Cap's strength and skill, the first time Cap's chasing him down, it's a full sprint. It's super intense. The music's pounding. They're running and they're smashing through walls. Cap throws his shield. Bucky turns around and just catches it.
Yeah.
And it's silent. And then Cap's just like, whoa, this guy is my equal. And little did he know it was his best friend from World War II. And I got to give it to Winter Soldier here. It's 10 for the story for me. The Hydra twist especially. I'm a big fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So to see S.H.I.E.L.D. crumble from within, that was a huge plot twist for the films. And like you guys were saying, it revitalized the MCU. It really gave some fresh blood, because with S.H.I.E.L.D. gone, with Nick Fury practically on his deathbed, it just reset the entire MCU for a much darker scale, and also a more epic scale, which we saw later with Infinity War. So I'll give Winter Soldier a 10, and I'll give Infinity War a 9, just for the sheer epicness of it.
Quick note.
Yeah.
I want to like touch on a little bit about, like, when we first see Thanos in Infinity War, when he goes in the very first scene, no resurrections this time. When Nick Fury was dead at that time in phase 2, I think. Like that, I actually thought that this was the end of Sam Jackson in the MCU, and I was actually nervous when I saw the finger snap. I was just kind of rolling my eyes out. That's the God honest truth.
Wow, that is a pretty honest truth. But before we move on, I just want to correct Amanda. It's not phase 1, sweetheart. It's phase 2. First of all, second of all, let's move into memorable moments. Now, I'm just going to go straight 10 out of 10 for Infinity War. It's got everything. It's got Thor meeting the Guardians for the first time. Great first interaction. We've got Thor meeting the Avengers in Wakanda with Groot and Rocket Raccoon. Great scene. We've got the snap, whether you felt something or not, because you knew they'd all come back. It did something that no superhero film has ever done before, and they took the risk of pretty much getting rid of all their characters, and I commend them for that. It was such an epic moment, especially after you thought that Thanos died. No, motherfucker, boom, goodbye. And then I'll be honest, the fight on Titan when he stabbed Tony Stark, I thought he killed him. Honestly, God, that probably would have killed anyone else, but this is a movie. That's besides the point. I thought that was a great moment. Dude, don't even get me started with the Mr. Stark. Don't leave me. Bro, I'm sorry, but everyone teared up at that scene. Such a monumental moment in the MCU history. And just like what Deeb said before, the first intro to Thanos was amazing monologue of never having another resurrection of some sorts, or something about destiny. It all leads back to him either way. Like, bro, Josh Brolin did a fantastic job with this role. He really brought something to this character that I feel like no one else could. And hell, throwing Gamora off the edge on Vormir, another memorable. This movie is just memorable. moment after another one after another one. This should be called Avengers Memorable Moments Montage. That's what this should be called. So I'm going to go 10 out of 10 on Infinity War. But with the Winter Soldier, I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 because there are great ones, but there's really not too many. We've got the final fight between Bucky and Steve, a great emotional moment for those two characters. And then leading up to Bucky dragging Steve out of the water, the lake. And then we've got Bucky being introduced or unmasking himself in the street in front of Steve for the first time. And Steve's like, oh shit, it's Bucky. And then, like Lo said, when the Winter Soldier catches the shield, they're great moments, but I got to give this one to Infinity War. So I'm going to go 10 on Infinity War, 8 on Winter Soldier. What about you, Loretto?
Caught me off guard there. So, just disclaimer. If you guys see my eyes wandering, I'm actually on baby duty. So not only do I have my child, I have another child because if we have some family helping us move and I'm stuck at the house with you wonderful people. So anyway, with that being said, obviously, I mean, the most memorable moment of either two films, the Peter Parker and Tony Stark scene wrecked me with a capital WRECKED. Wrecked me. I was sobbing because I was a brand new father. My son was 2 at the time. And the relationship that developed, I don't care what anybody says. Stop with that Iron Boy Jr. nonsense, okay? This is just a strong relationship, developed and well written. And what really killed me about this scene is not just the you know, I don't want to go, but he says I'm sorry. He apologizes to Tony Stark because he wasn't supposed to be there. Stark sent Friday, take him home, and the parachute opened up, but he stayed on board. And he says he was sorry. And that was the last thing he said to Tony. I was done. I was gone, man. Gone. So with that being said, I got to give Infinity War a 10. I mean, whether it's Thor, not only like losing his eye and getting him and the Hulk getting the crap beat out of him by Thanos, but for him to like hold the power of the star to create, God help me, what's the axe called? Stormbreaker. To create Stormbreaker. Oh, what an epic moment. And from the to seeing the riders come attack Wakanda and, you know, Wakanda forever and the war scene, like there was just like Ryan was saying, it's just memorable moment after memorable moment. The Iron Spider suit, when you see the freaking legs come out, Dives loves that scene. I know it. Doctor Strange and Tony Stark on the street together battling, what's his face? Squidward.
Maul or Ebony Maul?
Ebony Maul,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I blanked out for a second. But like just memorable moment after memorable moment. It's an easy 10, and nothing against Winter Soldier. I gotta give a shout out to like, you are my mission, and he just pounds Steve Rogers' face, heart clenching. Falcon was incredible considering we've never seen Falcon before. When he first revealed his wings, it was like, oh, it's Falcon! Like, because I wasn't sure who Anthony Mackie was. So the knife grab, the hand-to-hand combat, Nick Fury in the car, and the window is like, oh, 10%, and he's like, oh, do it now. He pulls the gun out, and honestly, like Winter Soldier was intense, memorable action, but it's a little bit lower. I'll give it a 9 for Winter Soldier.
9.
What about you, Deebs?
Me? Okay. Yeah, the Winter Soldier had incredible moments. First one up, you touched on it, Lo. The best hand-to-hand fight scene in any MCU movie, probably rivaling any action movie, was in the Winter Soldier. That highway fight scene between Cap and Bucky, still to this day, my favorite legit action scene in any MCU movie. That there was a level of intensity that is just, it was so memorable at the time, and it still is one of my favorite moments in MCU history. You had the elevator scene. That elevator scene when he's like, does anyone want to get out? And there's just so many great moments of Captain America where you see from the first Avenger hit the action level, the brutal action go from here to here in the Winter Soldier. That being said, I fully agree with you guys. Nothing is truly on par with Thanos' moments and several of the other like crazy geek out moments in Infinity War. You had Thanos killing Loki. You had Quill impersonating a tough guy next to Thor. Like the Iron Spider suit. Quick note about that. I talked for years amongst my friends, you know, wanting to see the Iron Spider suit, and we finally got it. And that reveal during the film opening night, like I completely lost my shit when we first saw it come out. It was just crazy.
Smells like a brand new car in here, Mr. Stark.
the Guardians meeting the Avengers, Cap holding back the gauntlet. Like, there's just, you guys touched on it. There's just over and over and over again memorable moments. These are some of the most epic and emotionally investing moments, not in the MCU, but like in film history. I give the Winter Soldier a 9.5, and I give the Infinity War an 11. I'm kidding, a 10. But it would be.
I was about to say, if we're going past 10, I'll give that shit an infinity, dude. No pun intended. But let's go straight to AJ, man. What about you?
There's really not much for me to say at this point. You guys basically touched on everything. So Infinity War is just a straight up 10 out of 10, or Infinity and Beyond out of 10. I don't know if you guys were already mentioned Thor's return back on Earth with
Bring me Thanos.
That was a great movie.
Rocket Raccoon.
Thanos.
Yeah,
Do you know my friend Tree? And then Cap is like Steve Rogers.
I love that movie. That moment just made me just laugh so much. But everybody, almost everybody knows this about me, but I'm a huge like fight choreographer type of guy. I love all my action movies with nice fight choreography, great editing with those choreography as well. And Winter Soldier does that perfectly. Usually, I hate when my action movies have cuts because a lot of editors do not do it right, and it's annoying as hell. But with the Winter Soldier, each cut, if you pay attention to it, each cut went on impact, and that just did a lot for me, and it just flowed very nicely. And I just can't get enough of that fight sequence with Bucky and Captain America. The face reveal, one of the best moments, I think, of all time. Not even just MCU, I'm just talking about movies in general. But I'm definitely have to get to Infinity War because anything with Thanos in the MCU was perfection. Everything with the Guardians of the Galaxy, everything with Thor, everything with Doctor Strange, just every single moment, every single second, every single millisecond, I don't care, was perfection. I know I gave this a lower score story-wise, but Infinity War moments is the best thing that any nerd can have. So I'm giving that a 12 trillion out of 10. I'm going higher than what the rules allow me to. I don't care.
Fun fact. I left an elevator scene and all the extra ones for you guys. There's just so many moments in both films. I mean,
we could just make a whole podcast on memorable moments for
Bring me Thanos. AJ, what did you grade the Winter Soldier?
9 out of 10.
Thank you.
Awesome. So let's go down to visuals. Now, this is going to be an interesting pick for me because I feel like Infinity War is going to be more CG visuals and Winter Soldier is going to be more practical visuals when we come down to it at the end of the day. I cannot admire the amount of work that went into Thanos in general. The close-up shot of him in the beginning, seeing all the follicles in his skin where his hair should come out, the scars, the little deep tissue impact. Dude, it's so detailed. And I've watched a few like visual effects videos on the creating of Thanos. And dude, if anyone's getting into visual effects or is just curious, the amount of effort that went into this is just unimaginable. Nothing can beat it. On top of that, I will admit the Black Order, Black Order, they don't look the best, but I feel like that was an intentional thing to keep them a little bit more bland, to have all the glory in Thanos. But other than that, the whole Titan fight was, dude, groundbreaking. Thanos throwing the planet at Tony, then Doctor Strange and Thanos switching their interdimensional things, turning things into butterflies, turning the air into glass. Like, who the fuck would think of that personally? But it's all so seamless for CG. And I can keep going on about it, but I want to give you guys some points to go on. So I'm going to give Infinity War a 10 out of 10. But the Winter Soldier has a lot of great practical effects. The entire fight scene on the bridge, practically, I've seen a bunch of behind the scenes, was so well done and methodically planned out. The Russo brothers were the best thing to happen to the MCU on top of Jon Favreau. And I admire the work they do. So I'm going to go a 9 out of 10 for the Winter Soldier. What about you, Deebs?
Me, visuals, both are masterclass. Sorry, I lost. I had to come back in. I didn't really get to hear what you said, but darker, grittier tone for the Winter Soldier were just a breath of fresh air at the time when it was released. We literally feel the impact of every punch, every bullet in the Winter Soldier. Like set pieces in Cap were just absolutely outstanding. It almost felt like it was ripped straight out of like a Jason Bourne movie. And I just want to I tie this in with visuals. Quick nod, you know where I'm going, to the film score of The Winter Soldier, written by Henry Jackman. It's hands down one of my favorite film scores in the entire MCU. But like Captain America, the film score in this movie was so fresh and so different than anything that MCU was doing at the time. And we just like Steve's character arc in this film, we saw the film score, which really kind of evolved Cap's kind of character arc and character, where the differences from what we see from the first Avenger to Infinity War is just massive. And that all began with the Winter Soldier. Onto Avengers Infinity War. I think what's so impressive about this one is it's essentially like one CGI scene. And I just feel like what's so impressive about Infinity War is at no point in this movie do you feel detached from the characters or emotion from this film, which is super important because we just saw, during this movie, the Hobbit series, the Hobbit franchise, I guess prequels, had just finished wrapping up, and there was so much CGI in that, and it was so much shoved down your face that I didn't really care about that movie because there was just no emotion to it, and it was so fake. And so just kudos to the CGI work, whoever did the visual effects team of Infinity War, just absolutely outstanding. And then even beyond that, the costumes were on just a whole different level in Infinity War. To this day, Cap's costume in Winter Soldier is still hands down my favorite costume for Captain America. And then you go to Infinity War and you see Iron Man's nanotech costume right in that first act. You see Spider-Man's iron spider suit. You see Captain America with the full beard in Infinity War. Just iconic visuals, top to bottom. So I just got to say, I'm going to give the nod to Infinity War in this one because with having so much CGI, with having such a huge scope, for it to be an effective emotional film is just that much more impressive. I'm going Infinity War a 10, The Winter Soldier a 9.5.
More power to you, brother. Let's go down to AJ, man.
Yeah, so a lot of people complain that too much CGI is a bad thing in movies.
Bullshit.
And we all have arguments that Infinity War proves that statement false. Infinity War just shows you that you can have a lot of CGI and it still looks real and in theaters and stuff like that. But that's not the most important thing about Infinity War. It's about the characters. CGI is second to that, I will admit. But overall, the CGI is done masterfully within the Infinity War. Visual effects speaking, with Winter Soldier, I think it's fantastic as well. Everything Deb said with Winter Soldier, I 100% agree. Just everything between, not even just looking at it, just if you close your eyes and you just hear the sounds within Winter Soldier, you can just tell what moment it is. And I think with that just shows how masterfully done that movie is on its own. For me, I'm going to give both of them a 10 out of 10, but for a different reason. I would give 10 out of 10 to Winter Soldier because of the practical effects itself, but I'll also give 10 out of 10 with Infinity War due to the CGI, the amount of CGI it had and how beautifully it was done.
Wow, more power to you. Let's go straight down to low as he's prepared this time.
So, a lot like the story part, which I forgot to touch on, is Winter Soldier does so much more with less. And I think that's why we regard it so highly, especially in terms of its visuals. And like, in particular, that scene where the Winter Soldier is like literally like tearing the car that they're driving apart. I don't know how much of that is practical, but it's just like, it was just in your face. He's like ripping the car off. He ripped the steering wheel off, and you know, like Falcon couldn't turn and they end up crashing. And then at some point, Cap like flies off of the overpass, right? And he like ends up like in a bus or something like that. And just sheer like action cinema. And I don't care. Fight me, Martin Scorsese. Action cinema, okay? That scene is intense. It's intense. But at the same time, you know, those kind of visuals, it's not even fair to compare to the visuals of Infinity War, because like AJ was saying, too much CG, sure, is sometimes a bad thing, but when the CG is good, there is no issue. When the CG is good, it's fine, and sometimes you need that scale. Like, Thanos hit Tony with a moon, and we saw the red bands of Cyrilak or whatever from Doctor Strange and the replication spell where there was 50 Doctor Stranges. Like, that has to be CG, and it looked friggin' cool. And Peter, actually, that whole Titan sequence, Peter, the kick, magic with a kick, you know, the teleportation, you can't do that without the CG, and it was wonderful. You know, if Doctor Strange throwing the portal so like Star-Lord can walk on him and then flick him off and leave a bomb on Thanos' back. It was just incredible. And like, ultimately, like the end of that scene where he's all tied up, Drax is on his leg, Mantis is trying to put him to sleep, and Tony and Peter Parker are trying to rip the gauntlet off. Like, just incredible visuals. And Ryan already touched about Thanos' face. I mean, the skin, you could have sworn Thanos was just walking around, sitting behind set, drinking coffee. Like, I can picture a chair with Thanos' name on it, and he's just like, "Oh, am I up? Is it my scene?" All right, let's go. And,
it's the choice of a new generation.
Yeah, man. I gotta give both films, honestly, for visual wise, both films get a 10, but for different reasons. I mean, The Winter Soldier in terms of its practicality and its gritty realness, and Infinity War in terms of its epic visual effects. They both look great, and that's also why these films are so great.
Yep.
Wow. I'm just stunned. I'm really thinking about what the math is going to look like at the end of this, because with me at the end of World War Z and Train to Busan, I couldn't tell who I thought was going to win, but I really can't wait to see this one.
This is tight
because before we move on to our next category, I just want to say these are probably the two most highly regarded MCU films. So to see what the math comes down to at the end of the day is always an interesting look. But let's go down to the rewatchability of both these films. Now, I'll be honest, I think I've watched Infinity War about 100 times since it's released. No funny shit. I find it to be the most rewatchable MCU film just because of all the memorable moments. It's funny as all shit, first of all. Thirdly, there's so many characters. Each time I feel like I can get something different from each character. The fourth one, dude, the action is just off the walls. I'm not going to go back over with the throwing the moon at Tony, but you know what I mean. So honestly, and just seeing the snap at the end still hits me to this day. To think that we've gotten so far in the comic book movie genre that we could do this. We could kill off a whole fucking universe worth of people that we've cared about for the past 10 years. And they're just like, yeah, goodbye. And so I completely adore Infinity War if you don't know. So 10 out of 10 for Infinity War. And The Winter Soldier, it's in my top 10 favorites, but not my top 5. I don't love this film as much as pretty much everyone else, I'd say. It's a very good action film. I really like the political espionage of this. I like that it definitely did something different, and I completely agree that it did do something different with the comic book movie genre and really helped push the MCU forward. And I feel like that's what both these films did really well, is they gave or rejuvenated the MCU just the little bit that it needed to keep pushing forward. And personally, I really love the third act of this film. It's great, but I feel like the beginning is a little bit of a slow build. I haven't watched it in a long time. I'll be honest. I haven't watched it in like a year and a half. Maybe I'll rewatch it tonight. I was thinking about watching Endgame on my 4K TV, motherfuckers. So I'm going to give The Winter Soldier an 8 out of 5 or 8.5 out of 10. Sorry. Said that completely backwards in my head. And then let's go to AJ.
We're doing memorable moments, right? Wait, what?
No, rewatchability. We already did memorable moments.
I'm still stuck. Okay. Rewatchability for Infinity War is a 10 out of 10. I think I watched this about a little less than Man of Steel, so around like 7 or 8 times. And Winter Soldier I watched about 3 or 4 times and still counting. I'm actually going to watch it tomorrow because I'm actually
excited. I was gonna say, you sound excited to rewatch it.
I'm exhausted right now. I'm doing my Marvel marathon, and my next movie is Winter Soldier. So I'm actually going to do a review on that soon.
Cool.
I can't wait to do a review on that. So I'm gonna give that one a 9.5 out of 10 because I'm definitely going to keep on watching it for years to come.
Wow, this is gonna be hard. Deebs, are you ready? Because it looks like Lo is preoccupied. So I'm gonna go to Deebs.
Yeah, like you said, guys.
I'm good. If you want me to go,
go ahead.
Okay, just go. Whoever wants to go.
Oh my! Actually, go ahead, Doug.
Oh my god!
All right. Obviously, these are 2 of like my top 5 watch comic book movies of all time. The other 3, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and Logan. I think both films are a little bit different in terms of rewatchability. Infinity War has so many of those like nerd out moments that we talked about that I kind of find myself more so watching on YouTube rather than just sitting down on Disney Plus watching it on the couch. On the other end, it's 2.5 hours long, guys. That's a variable. On the other end, The Winter Soldier is this like brass knuckles spy thriller that is kind of like Rocky in that sense, where I find myself watching The Winter Soldier beginning to end much more frequently. I saw both movies, I think 3 times in the theater. I don't know how many times I've watched them. Dude, it's probably in the 20s for both of them. But real talk, I could watch Anthony Mackie and Chris Evans just on screen all freaking day. I love that dynamic. I think I have Infinity War beating out The Winter Soldier in this one because the action scenes are just so epic. They're scenes that you have to rewatch multiple times because there's so much going on at one time that you're just like, what? It's like nerd porn, and you have no idea what's happening at a single moment. It's just straight, absolutely orgasmic. But I also love the small moments. Little nod to the small moments of Infinity War. You have the amazing banter between Strange and Peter and Tony Stark in that first act that was just so fun, so freaking fun. Thor and Rocket having a real human moment.
That was such a beautiful moment,
dude. Like, I think it was like in that second act. Like, there are just bits and pieces of Infinity War that take it over the top. I'm going Infinity War 10. I'm going Winter Soldier 9.5.
And Loretto, we know you're ready now. Speak up, brother.
Yeah, honestly, like this one's pretty quick for me. Like, there's nothing against Winter Soldier, but I've just never found myself to like rewatch the entire film. I probably rewatched it maybe 3 or 4 times, but I haven't rewatched it as many times as Infinity War. Like, I don't know if it's just the terms of the pacing of that story that's just honestly, admittedly, I'm a big X-Men fan, so I think the team up part of Infinity War just has me like wanting to come back to it. Like, for example, the scene in New York with Doctor Strange, and when like Peter catches the fist and he's like, "Oh, hey, hey, Mr. Stark, I was on a field trip to the museum." Like that scene, I just have like a comfort. It's a comfort scene for me. Like I watch that scene, and it just makes me so happy. Like it's just an awesome moment. The Winter Soldier is more so like I get hooked on moments, and I've rewatched like clips like the Bucky and Rogers fight. I've seen 100 times, but the whole film I haven't watched in its entirety many times. Maybe because the twists don't like, because I know the twist, like it's like it doesn't have the same effect. I think that's part of it, but I also think rewatchability is very much a preference. So in terms of my preference, I just love like epic team ups. I love how all the characters interact with each other. I got to give it to Infinity War here. It's a 10 for me. I saw it in the theaters 5 times. And then comparably, I saw Winter Soldier, I think twice in the theaters. And I saw it like once or twice at home. I'll give Winter Soldier like an 8.5.
Not to go too off books, but you guys mentioning how many times you've seen these films in theaters. I remember I saw The Winter Soldier twice in theaters. I saw Infinity War 5 times, and then I saw Endgame 8 times. I saw Endgame 8 times in the fucking theater. Dude, I was determined to make that film beat Avatar. That's all I'm saying.
I also want to
go ahead.
Throw this out there. I count Infinity War and Endgame the same movie. A lot of people would disagree with me on that. I count them as the same movie.
Okay,
so when I say I actually do want to change my story grade on this, if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually want to put it as 9.5 out of 10. Purely because I love the way they wrote Thanos. I didn't mention this before, but the philosophy of Thanos altogether, his background was just so fascinating. It just brought it up for me. I just love Thanos as a villain. A lot of people would disagree with me on this, but I think Thanos is a better villain than Darth Vader. And everybody knows how much I love Star Wars. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Personally, I agree with AJ, though. I agree with AJ. But let's move down to our final list or final category. Final grades for these films. Let's make this short and simple so we can have a little bit more of a discussion about it. But Infinity War, I'm going to go 10 out of 10. And then The Winter Soldier, I'm going to go 8 out of 10. What about you, Loretto?
This is the overall score, right?
Yeah.
Man, he's really thinking. He's really thinking.
I think Leo said 1A, 1B, right? Like that's honestly how it feels. Like Winter Soldier is my top 3. Infinity War is my favorite MCU film. They're both 10s in my book. I mean, just plain and simple, they're both 10s to me. So
I'll never forgive you, Loretto, for taking Infinity first pick or on the superhero draft, the very first draft, dude. I will never forget that moment in my life. But what about you, Deebs?
That was one of my favorite all-time draft moments. You were just dude,
I flipped. I started cursing up. I got it.
And you were like, you're not invited to the podcast again.
Dude, I went bonkers because I love the film so much. But what about you, Deebs? What are your final grades for both these films?
Yeah, it's a tough one because, like, in my blood, I'm a DC Comics fan, and so therefore I'm all about the villains. Infinity War, the Winter Soldier, these are 2 films that feature literally my favorite 2 villains in the MCU. So I guess I'm in the minority here. I thought the Winter Soldier villain was a better villain. It just had a more investing story on my end. I thought the pacing, the performances, the writing, the tone in the Winter Soldier was just that much better than Infinity War. On the other end, overall as a whole, I think Infinity War is just better. I think it's just a better how they were able, the Russo brothers. I started with it. I'm going to end with it. How are they able to juggle all these super egos and characters and actors and make it a one cohesive movie is just absolutely an incredible feat. It's just truly a masterclass. I have the Winter Soldier just a notch below the Dark Knight, and I have Infinity War as the DC's like the The Dark Knight. So I'm going Infinity War a 10, The Winter Soldier a 9.5.
Yeah, and let me just remind people, the writers for Thor: The Dark World wrote both Infinity War and Endgame. So
Wow.
big dick
I
energy
did
up in
not
that
know
crib.
that. Wow.
You wait, AJ, you didn't know that?
Christopher Marcus, right? And
Yeah, Christopher
Feely-
Marcus or Steve
Steven
That was
McFeely,
good.
some shit like that. But AJ, what are your final
good.
grades?
Huh?
Man, dude, that's like some real nutter butter sauce face right there.
I'm
A
gonna
side
give.
note, I think it'd be awesome to do just a Russo rewatch. Like,
Oh, yeah.
go
Dude,
from,
I
like,
might
Winter
do that.
Soldier to Civil War to Infinity War to Endgame. I think that would be fun just by itself.
And
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm gonna give Winter Soldier a 9.87
he's being one of these guys. He's being one of these guys. Okay.
out of 10, and I'm gonna give Infinity War. Wait, can I give them 2 grades each?
What the fuck?
What do you
No,
mean?
give it 1 grade each. For math purposes.
If you're confused why I asked, I was gonna give it an entertainment score, and then
No,
like
we
critical
weren't
score.
confused.
But-
If you were confused, we weren't.
You know what, Ryan? You can go. you can go watch Endgame by yourself.
I was planning on it.
Infinity War, I'm gonna give it a 9.5476 out of 10.
What the fuck? Okay. Good
All
job. I'm just glad Deebs is putting in the numbers.
Yeah, can you
Hey,
all right,
real quick.
hold on. Wait, AJ, a 9.8 for the Winter Soldier and what for the Infinity War?
0.5.
9.5?
Yeah.
Got it.
Cringe.
Hey, real quick, shouts out to GSP as Bartok. He was the former UFC welterweight champion. Although Steve Rogers kicked his ass, it was pretty cool seeing him on screen.
And he's returning for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Is that
Remember that.
confirmed?
Yeah, bro, have you not seen the set photos? Anyway, as Deebs does his little nerd math shit right now, let's do a few plugs.
Wait,
Let's do a few
before we
plugs.
do the
No,
plugs,
motherfucker.
can I?
No, we're not
breaking
changing
news.
again. We're not
This is
changing.
breaking news on Hollywood Reporter.
Are you talking
And-
about the Michael B. Jordan?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Michael B. Jordan's producing.
Yes, I know we're
Static
talking
Shock.
about Marvel, but DC is life and forever will be life. So Static Shock is finally coming. I've been waiting for this for years. So I am so freaking happy.
That's
Okay.
So yeah,
now you
well,
can-
Hey,
Deebs.
shouts out to Kyle. I think he was in our comments about it, right?
Yeah,
Was he?
earlier. I saw that, but I didn't want to bring it up till later till we finished all of this. But well, Deebs is doing this. I just want to plug the movie draft that's still going on. I think I plugged in the last one too. Honestly, I've just lost track of time and space at this point in my life. But you know what? That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But yeah, guys, we still got the horror movie draft going on right now. It ends in another 6 hours. Don't forget to put in your final votes. It's me versus Sonny on the Movies Matrix team. It's Deebs versus Zach. I'm doing this all on the top of my head, so please bear with me. It's Deeb's friend Ryan H versus Larry, and then it's Michael versus Daryl. Okay, I'm glad I got that all in my head. So honestly, don't even vote for Deeb's team because he's just gonna win no matter what. I'm sorry to Zach if you're listening to this, man, but you got obliterated just like everyone did at the end of Infinity War. Pun intended. But then everyone else is a pretty close matchup right now. So your vote could help decide last second who wins and who loses. So don't forget to go. Oh my God, I lost track of thought. I hate myself. So don't forget to go vote on the Movies Matrix Twitter page for that. Deebs, are you done or do I still have to keep bullshitting?
You didn't give me the caca sound. Like I'm not sure when to do this.
Bro,
All right, first of all,
show.
Abracadabra, baby.
Can I lead this off? And this
No.
is so funny. Like before we started, like I was so excited to see the math numbers on this.
Me too.
We all graded Infinity War the same fucking score. All right, here we go. Let me share this.
Yo, this is the first one I'm nervous about, bro, because this is defining right here, by the way. Whatever these numbers say, go.
So we have Infinity War at 98%, and
Beat
then
that,
overall,
Amanda.
The Winter Soldier at 93%. We all graded Infinity War a 49 out of 50.
Oh my god!
That sounds about right, though. It's deservedly so. It's
wow.
No matter how you slice it, it's one of the best the MCU has ever given us.
I think the Winter Soldier is a little higher than 93%. Just my opinion.
Dabes, what I want you to do is take a screenshot of this right now, and we're going to post it on Twitter and say, this is the definitive best MCU film right here. We did the math quite clearly. The numbers are right in front of you. You can't tell us that we're wrong.
Hey, technically, though, I feel like AJ was iffy because he was giving us like 9.5876. His decimals weren't up.
Yeah, but he's just trying to be an ass right now.
If you round up, though.
I did round up. I was being nice.
Yeah, exactly. That's him being nice while being a dick at the same time.
I think I heard a 9.4689er.
Respect AJ for the love of Winter Soldier. Respect. Major respect.
Yeah, I guess respect for that. Wait, I graded it the lowest. Oh, shit. I just realized that. Honestly, it didn't feel that
that's
low.
a B, Ryan.
Yeah, no, that's fair though. I've always called it a B plus movie depending on my day. So I feel like it's accurate to what I would actually give it in a grade range. Fuck. But do we have any final thoughts on what we thought the outcome of this was?
No, I think this went pretty well. I think this is pretty much on point, to be honest. I think Infinity War is the standard, and it's what the Russo brothers were able to accomplish is between Infinity War and Endgame is an event that is probably something that we'll never see again. The buildup of 10 years of accomplishment and visual effects and emotion, and between the character arcs of Steve and Tony and how they were able to wrap all of that up and have the Kevin Feige was able to have the storyboarding and the vision of, I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Like the bar cannot be put any higher, and it's just the standard now. And sucks to be anyone else, but
I don't know if you guys remember how much it was in your theaters, but do you guys remember like when the opening credits started?
Dude,
and
people were screaming.
No, do you remember hearing like the ominous like Thanos like and then like you see the decimation? My entire theater, they were all leaning forward like on the edge of their seats. It was just epic like anticipation. And like Dobbs is saying, we might not ever see that again, man.
Dude,
I think we might see that a little closer than you think with Multiverse of Madness. I think we might get that for that.
Honestly, guys, I can't even tell you. This will always be a memory in the back of my head, or just in my head. Just my fucking brain is that memory. Is the ending of Infinity War, the crowd reaction to that was just something I will never get to experience again. I went to an opening midnight showing of the film, and at 2:30 in the morning, when Thanos snapped his fingers, bro, the crowd was like, "Holy fuck!" Dude, everyone in the theater literally said that. And I'm just like...
Hey, and you know what sucks is I know some people have a hate and love relationship when people like cheer in movies. For me, I love it. I think it's just part of our love for the genre.
I think it has to be at the end of the movie, though.
Yeah.
No, but when Cap came out of the shadows to save Wanda and Vision, like my crowd was a hype. They were like, "Hey, let's go!" Like,
and dude,
that was fun. That was really fun. And same thing when Thor arrives in Wakanda. I mean, who wasn't like, yeah? Like,
bro, what about when Cap finally said Avengers assemble and watching them all come out of the portals for the first time, man? That was massive by the crowds. Also, another moment I will
never think of that scene ever again the same way. Now that with Chad Boseman passing, like that scene of Black Panther being the first one out, that's how honestly how I see it. I see Infinity War is the better movie. Endgame has the better moments. That's just my opinion, but I will never see that movie the same way again. It's like that's straight waterworks.
Especially the way he looks at Cap and just gives him that nod, like, "I got you, bro," and it's just or
the thought of like I knew you could do it, man. Like, yo, stop. I'm gonna watch Endgame tonight now.
You're gonna make me
I hate
cry,
you
man.
guys.
I don't want to cry tonight. I promised my wife I wouldn't cry tonight.
You might have to
All
break
right,
that
guys.
promise.
Do we have any final thoughts? Because this is the fourth time I'm asking. Before
We have
wrap it
an
up.
MCU quote bracket going down over at the Suit Up Geeks podcast Twitter handle at the Suit Up Geeks. Make sure you vote for your favorite MCU quote. We got like a bracket of I think 64.
My quote's not on there.
Which quote is it?
Clearly
It was,
not a good one.
It was a Thanos quote in Infinity War. Actually, it was.
Are you talking about the Destiny one?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm kind of mad that one wasn't in there either.
Wow. All right. Well, there it is.
It's
Thanks
fine
for
though,
speaking
dude.
on my quote bracket, AJ. Thanks.
Hey,
Yeah,
you the
AJ.
one that ignored my quote.
AJ,
Hey,
you just gotta
Dives, in your
critique
defense, though,
everything.
dude, you have some deep cuts on there. Like, hey, Thor, he called me a dickhead again. Like, you had some deep cuts, bro. So I appreciate that.
Thor, new
Fine.
Master 6ix9ine keeps shit talking me. Listen, new Master 6ix9ine, I will come to you and tell your mother what you've been saying online. Like, come on. The God of Thunder threatening a fucking 5-year-old on Fortnite. I'm shocked Fortnite even existed when half the planet was decimated, but that's besides the point.
Taika Waititi is the voice of Korg, and if you didn't know already,
He's the
my
double.
favorite side character in the MCU. Korg is the shit.
Yeah, Korg is the shit. I can't wait to see him in Thor: Love and Thunder if he comes back.
Please.
But yeah, guys, I think that wraps up tonight's show. I thought, dude, this was a great show. I've been dying to talk about Infinity War. Dude, stop.
Yeah, vote for my team. Make sure you keep voting for my squad in the horror movie draft over at Movies Matrix on Twitter. I think I'm gonna win this one, but whatever happens after this, between me versus Larry or me versus Ryan, is gonna be a straight up bloodbath.
Bloodbath. But thank you guys for coming out for another Versus episode on the Suit Up Geeks podcast. I know we got the full team here. Aren't we a bunch of beautiful bastards? I know. We definitely try to look pretty. And Lo, you've got a big fist, Daddy. You've got a big fist. Yeah. That's how Ant-Man should have defeated Thanos. Just saying. Lo's just dying over there. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you next week.